Go for a draw on that one. Neither side are dominant at the moment. Draw.
Everton, Cardiff.
Only one winner there. Everton, Cardiff won't score goals.
See, they give us 3 minutes. Let's do this in under 2. Fulham, Southampton.
Difficult one, but I'm going to go for a Southampton. I don't like Mark Hughes' management, but I'm going to go for a Southampton victory.
It's full of praise for you. That'll be a draw. Man United, Palace.
Palace will cause 1 or 2 problems for Manchester United, but I think overall Manchester United will get the victory by a couple of goals to 1.
Good one, this one. Should be goals in Watford against Liverpool.
Yeah, tight. Liverpool haven't been at their best in the last 3 or 4 weeks, but I think they'll just about have enough to beat Watford. Again, 2-1 I'm going for.
I'm going for 3-2 for that one. So your former team, West Ham, against a team who would have been so much better if they'd signed you, Man City.
West Ham have caused problems to Chelsea. They got a draw against Chelsea. They defended well in that game, and they did quite well against Tottenham. They played better than Tottenham, although Tottenham won the game. But Man City are at a different level, so I'm going to go for a Manchester City win.
No way I'm disagreeing with you there. Spurs-Chelsea, big one.
It is a big one. Everyone has talked about Tottenham not having a great start to the season. In fact, it's been their best start to a Premier League season ever. But they haven't played quite as well. Chelsea, different sort of system under Sarri. I'm going to go for a draw in this game.
Pitch will be a bit better.
Well, hopefully.
I am going to go for a Harry Kane last-minute winner. Bournemouth, Arsenal.
Arsenal, again, the last 3 or 4 weeks, although they played well against Liverpool, haven't won the last 3 games, albeit in the Europa League as well. But I think they might just about have enough. A late goal to get them a victory against Bournemouth, 2-1, I think.
I'm going to go for a draw in this one. I love the way Bournemouth are playing this season, and that Arsenal team struggling to defend, although they can score. Wolves taking on Huddersfield.
I'd love to give Huddersfield a chance. They've had a better bit of form of late, although they haven't, again, won too many games. Wolves, I think, are a consistent side. They had that 1 loss against Watford at home, but I think they'll have too much for Huddersfield. Another poor day for Huddersfield.
Going to end with a vital game, especially for Newcastle. They've bounced back of late, but they're still not playing that well, and they go to a tough place, Turf Moor, to face Burnley.
You say a tough place, but Burnley haven't been very good this season.
True.
They haven't played that long ball football particularly well that they have done in recent times. Sean Dyche seems to have lost his mojo with the players. Benitez is doing okay with Newcastle. That's why I'm going with a draw.
Burnley for me. So we agree on some, disagree on others. What do you think? ESPNFC.com to join the conversation. Today's transfer rated alongside the former England midfielder Stuart Robson, a little rub of his crystal ball to come up with whether these are hits or misses. Rafinha going to Roma.
I've not been impressed with Rafinha at Barcelona. He's now out the side. Kolarov is at Roma, so I'm going to have that as a miss.
See, this is the way it should be done. None of this like 3-minute analysis from the likes of Mariner or any of the other ones.
Well, you just keep it short.
Bing, bang, bong. Eriksen, Real Madrid.
Eriksen or Eriksen? He's a good player. He's done well for Tottenham. He can see a pass. Is he better than the players they've got there at the moment? I don't think so, so I'm going to go for a miss with Eriksen as well.
Frankie de Jong, really talented player at Ajax. Man City, would he work?
In the long term, I think he'd be an excellent player for Man City. At the moment, I'm not sure he's going to get into the side, so I don't think it would be a good move. Carry on playing really well for Ajax, carry on playing well for the Dutch side. In the long term, yes, but at the moment, I'm going to say a miss.
Last time we did this together, you had 5 hits.
And none of them came true, so I'm always going for the miss now.
He's a good defensive midfielder, Julian Weigl. Do Arsenal need him to play maybe alongside Torreira to replace Ramsey?
Well, Ramsey's not getting in the side, so they've got Xhaka, they've got Guendouzi as well, they've got Torreira, as you said. Weigl is a good player. At the moment, I don't think Arsenal need him, so I'm going to have that as a miss as well.
I like the pregnant pause, kind of... Finally. Now, this came out last night. It was because of Gazzetta in Italy. They kind of splashed it that Ibra, done and dusted, on loan to AC Milan from Galaxy. Galaxy have come out today and said, no, whoa, that ain't happening. Is it?
No, I don't think so. I don't think Ibrahimovic would be a good signing for AC Milan at the moment. I've seen him play in MLS. He's still doing quite well, but he's lost a little bit of that athleticism. So I'm going to go 5 out of 5. That's a miss.
Well, you know what's going to happen next. These 5 will soon be on their way to their new clubs.
Gazzetta dello Sport in Italy going big with the Ibrahimovic back to AC Milan story. A lot of English media outlets have pounced on this and suggested that some sort of deal has already been done. Now let's bring Gab in on this. The English media outlet suggesting there's a 6-month loan deal that's already been signed. Is that accurate, Gab?
Well, it's funny because a lot of these English media outlets cite Italian sources like Gazzetta, like calciomercato.com. And if you go to the original story, they're saying this is what Ibrahimovic's camp is offering. What we do know is that his agent, Mino Raiola, spoke to Milan, but he's got two players, Abate and Bonaventura, who are Milan players, so officially he was talking to them about that. We have a rough idea of how it would work. It would be a 6-month deal, obviously from the LA Galaxy. We have an idea of wages that have been put out there. He'd be willing to take a temporary pay cut for those 6 months. He enjoyed living in Milan. His wife loves it. A lot of papers have gone very big because they think that this is what Ibrahimovic wants. But, as we tape the show, the deal isn't done yet. And there's also, I think, a lot of people in and around Milan who are kind of wondering, wait, does this really make sense for the club? What impact is it going to have, given that, they already have two center forwards and Gonzalo Higuain and then Patrick Cutrone? Is this really what Milan need as they try to go and hunt a top 4 spot, which they do need quite desperately?
ESPN FC Serie A predictor alongside Stuart Robson. Under new management, Udinese taking on Roma this weekend.
Well, they need to play better than they have done in recent times. De Paul is obviously their danger man, but I'm still going to go for a Roma win. A close game, but Roma to win that one.
I think Davide Nicola will have a bounce, and that'll be a draw. Juve Spal, how many?
It's going to be quite a lot. Juventus will win the game comfortably. Don't really need to explain that one. Spal have done better than many people thought they would do, but it's going to be a Juventus victory.
I'm going to go with them as well. Inter against Frosinone, they can't slip up. They can't afford to slip up.
No, I think they'll win the game quite comfortably. I was disappointed with Inter at the start of the season. Spalletti seems to have got things right now. Some of their star players are playing much, much better. It's going to be an Inter win by 2 or 3 goals.
I think you could just replace the word Inter there with Napoli for the next one as well against... They're preparing for Serie B.
Yeah, it's not going well, is it, for Chievo? Napoli, I thought Ancelotti was going to have a problem at the start of the season when they lost 3-0 at Sampdoria and he didn't pick the right side and dropped several of the key players. He still doesn't play Dries Mertens every week, which you should remember for your Fantasy League football. But I'm going to go for Napoli to beat Chievo.
Imagine you as a fantasy guru. Goodness. We're both doing this one, and if you're in the United States, it's live on ESPN News on Sunday at noon. Lazio against Milan, as they say in Italy.
Immobile could score goals. No Higuain. I'm going to go for a Lazio win by 1-0. Tight game, but Lazio to win it by 1-0.
Good games this weekend. I'm going to go for a draw in that one. That's what we've got in our Serie A predictor this week.
Right then, let's dive right into it straight away on FC Extra Time. The 4 of us in the studio, we have Raf and Gab on board as well. Big, busy weekend of domestic games coming up. Return of domestic football. Game you're most looking forward to this weekend? Stuart, start with you.
Well, that's to be a game I'm commentating on. Lazio.
Oh, it has to,
Milan, and I'm also doing Atlanta against the big one.
Atlanta against the New Rebels.
Yeah, looking forward to those 2 games. Yeah, I have to remember who they were.
All right, you could also...
You're looking forward to that game.
So
you
much
don't
so,
know the
yeah,
team.
I can't remember the team.
I don't know. Tell me who's playing. I'm
Spurs.
so invested in this.
Well, the big one-
Spurs-Chelsea.
Big one in the Premier League, Spurs-Chelsea. You got the...
Your old team.
You got the Boca River second leg.
Yeah, I won't
Copa
be- I won't be
Libertadores,
watching
Atleti, Barca,
Probably because I can't find it, I won't be watching that one.
Roma, Inter.
Barca Atleti will be a good game.
Yeah. It's not this weekend. I mistook. Just getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, but it'll be a good game whenever it happens. I mean,
I'm really looking forward to it whenever it happens. Gab, what game is top of your list?
Well, for me, it has to be River and Boca, just for all the reasons, the importance, the storylines behind it, the spectacle. I'll throw out another one from the Premier League, which I think should be fascinating. Fulham, the debut of Claudio Ranieri, up against Southampton. Mark Hughes' Southampton. Some people have that as an early relegation derby, and could also be
Mark Hughes' last game.
A derby for Mark Hughes to keep his job.
Oh yeah.
Does anybody know where I can get a Ranieri book?
It is the
Anybody
Hughes
know?
job.
Yeah, buy it.
Ranieri book?
Yeah, it's good.
Gab, have you any contacts there?
Yeah. Supposed to be a really good read.
Gab, do you have any contacts?
The Ranieri book. Raf, I'm going to wager Fulham Southampton not quite top of your list, possibly. Am I going out on a limb there?
No, I think that's fair. I mean, look, I live in North London. I think you can't really look beyond Spurs-Chelsea at the weekend. I think it's a huge game. And like everyone else, looking to Buenos Aires for what is an absolutely unbelievable game. I don't think there is a bigger game in world football this weekend.
Did we get that here?
2-2 after the first leg. Through nefarious channels, we get it.
Okay.
Through what sort of channels?
Nefarious. Isn't that on your cable, nefarious? No. 2-2. You're not looking forward to it. All right. 2-2 after the first leg? Libertadores?
Well, I know it's a huge game. I don't know where to find it. I mean, that's...
Right.
Call me an old-fashioned cynic, but that's a bit of a problem.
It's part of what game...
Are you suggesting that
It's like illegal.
I managed to get that into my house via different means? No, I can't. I can't be condoning that kind of stuff.
All things are possible in 2018.
Yes?
Craig,
I'm not slingboxing to your house.
how is it that you can find every single golf tournament being played in the world, even like the over 65 playing in Phil Mickelson's backyard, but you can't find River and Boca? How is that possible?
Well, because I have the over 65s in Mickelson's backyard channel. And it's actually on my subscription.
Yep. You pay for that legally, don't you? You pay for that legally.
I pay for that legally, yes.
I wonder how Gab gets. He must do something illegal, I reckon, to get that.
Let's probe a little further on this game with Gab. Gab, how does the atmosphere Boca River rate with European games? And if it says if the crew of interest in the second leg, what are your predictions for the second leg? 2-2 after the first leg.
Well, it's actually River and Boca, of course, because they're playing at the Monumental. The first leg was Boca River. I was struck by the fact because so often when we've seen a lot of these big classes, a lot of these super clásicos, there's so much intensity but so much fear of losing that the game kind of grinds to a halt. But instead, this one had everything. Right? We had dramatic goals, we had chances, we had great saves as well. It's 2-2 on paper, you assume. River are favored at this stage. Obviously, Gallardo's going to be back. A bunch of guys who were suspended for the first leg as well. Ponzio, they're all going to be back. But equally, you get a sense that this is one of those games where anything can happen. And adding to the drama, of course, is there's no away fans. I'm just imagining if Boca somehow win this at the Monumental, the only people there are going to be the Boca players, backroom staff, maybe a couple club officials. You kind of imagine them, trying to get back to La Boca, trying to get back home, being akin to that movie Warriors from the early 70s. So, I don't know, I just love everything about this clash.
Everybody talks about atmospheres, and that is, down in South America it can be incredible. A lot of people talk about the atmospheres in the Premier League. I actually think some of the big European games have got better atmospheres. I was fortunate enough to go to the San Siro for a Milan derby, and it was 7 or 8 years ago. It was incredible. Both those teams were flying at the time, and I know it's not a derby, but I thought the atmosphere at Dortmund the other week, a couple of weeks ago for the Bayern Munich game, particularly in the second half when Dortmund came out flying, I thought that was an incredible atmosphere.
Well, let's go from places like that to life outside the top 6 in the Premier League. Stu, I want to address this question to you first. Who's the best Premier League player outside of the top 6 teams?
It's a hard one to judge. Well, I'm going to say a player that is key to West Ham surviving. And in the last year, I think he's been excellent for West Ham. Arnautovic. Yes, he can be a problem child at times, but when he's playing at his very best, and he has done that for West Ham on numerous occasions over the last year or so, he's a real threat to anybody.
I'm just going to say, off the top of my head, I'm going to say Richarlison at Everton.
Yeah, he's had
he's
a
been
great
good,
year.
He's young, he's talented, he came with a big price tag, but so far, and he scored for Brazil in the friendly.
Good header, wasn't it?
Right.
Yes, and he's producing the goods for Marco Silva at Everton.
Interested to see which direction Raf goes for this. Raf, best Premier League player outside the top 6?
Oh, that's an easy one, Paul Pogba.
Oh dear! I'm clicking on Raf's timeline tonight.
You like Raf now, don't you?
Oh, I want to see the abuse.
Right. Let's pretend.
Well, this is just a fact. I'm just stating a fact.
Right.
But, no, I mean, to answer in the spirit of the question,
yes.
I think it's hard to look past Richarlison. I've been very critical of the price tag. Everton fans will enjoy me saying this, but he's been very, very good. And James Maddison, I'd say I put a word in for him as well.
Shaka?
I have no idea.
Yeah. Tough one.
That-
Well,
yeah,
what about
that-
the question?
Huh?
What about the question? I mean, I've got no idea.
Yeah, well, it extends to that. I have no idea about that too. I've even less of an idea. No, I'll get back to you next week.
Okay. Let's see what Gab has to say. Gab?
Well, since I can't have Pogba, I'll give you three, one per position. Harry Maguire at Leicester, Abdoulaye Doucouré at Watford, and maybe the guy who is the single most important player to his team in the Premier League, Wilfried Zaha, without whom I think Crystal Palace would be in League Two.
I thought Watford might get a mention somewhere along the line.
Yeah, they're doing okay.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. They are. Stewie, who's the best defender in the world as of right now?
As of right now, it's a difficult one. Everyone's been talking about Varane at times,
Yeah.
but the player that I still think is a magnificent defender, he might lost a little bit of pace and athleticism, and he's much better on the ball than people give him credit for. I would go with Chiellini. Every time, Chiellini.
Still.
Still.
At his ripe old age.
I tell you who's
He's
improved,
magnificent.
and he still doesn't get in the French squad for whatever reason. Laporte.
Yeah.
He's been excellent.
He's been good alongside Stones, but once again he wasn't selected,
Yeah.
and there was some strange selections ahead of him. I don't know what the situation is in there, but he's certainly had a good season up to now domestically with his club.
Gab, would you still have Chiellini up there like Stuart? Becomes the best defender in the world?
Goodness, no.
No.
No, I mean, Chiellini's been very good. No, but to me, there's two guys who've been head and shoulders above everybody else for some time now, and one is Laporte, the other one is Kalidou Koulibaly.
Yeah, he's
Napoli, he's good
to be
athlete,
fair,
great athlete, yeah.
To be fair, every time I see Koulibaly, I buckle myself into my seat because I wouldn't want to be playing against that guy. He's got, I mean, he's big, strong,
Yeah.
he's quick, he's aggressive. I mean, he's wow.
And he reads danger, which is the most
Super
important
smart,
thing.
too.
Yeah, he's a good defender. He is.
Raf, Mats Hummels for you?
Not at
Not
the
quite.
moment. I think he's got potential. I have a problem with this because I would like to say Sergio Ramos, but I have moral problems with naming him the best defender because of his antics. So I'm going to give it to Virgil van Dijk.
Yeah, he's
No, he's
come on strong.
He's been, yeah.
he has been he's like a Rolls Royce at the moment.
Right.
I mean, he really is.
Shaka, I know you were a big fan of Varane.
I am. If I had a one pick right now, it would either be Van Dijk or Rafael Varane. I can't see past. Just given their pace, given their ability to cover for others. If I had, that's the first defender on my team sheet.
All right, most important, we save for last. Rich wants to know favourite Thanksgiving food. Start with you, Stuart, because you're here.
Well, we don't have
you're all over
Thanksgiving in England, but
There you are.
turkey is. We have at Christmas. Turkey's
The safe bet.
It's magnificent. You can't get better than turkey.
That is right
as long as
down
you
the
don't overcook it,
That
it's
is
fine.
right down the middle.
Yeah.
Turkey.
Yeah.
Craig, as someone who's enjoyed Thanksgiving for a few years.
It's not to do with. Hang on. It's not just isn't going to be food. This is going to be drink that he's going to mention.
It does say food.
Favourite food?
Good question.
Red wine.
And after the red wine, when you got to soak it up with
I'm going to
something.
somebody's house for Thanksgiving this year because I'm on my own, so somebody else can.
Somebody said that. What was it? They take in the waif and strays. They said they would
Waifs
take
and
you in.
strays.
Yeah, taking in the.
Dan Thomas does that sometimes.
Yeah, that's me. I'm going to his. Yeah.
Shagger?
Turkey, it's got to.
I mean, there really isn't much of a choice.
No, it's not much
It's
of a
turkey
choice.
turkey or turkey, stuffing.
All of that.
Actually, I'm a pie man. I like my pies. I know that comes as a great
I can see that. I can see you like your pies.
Do you know what Steve Nicol has in Thanksgiving?
Go on, tell them.
Spag bol.
Spag bol.
Spaghetti bolognese. I'll put my house on.
Bolognese.
Wouldn't be surprised, would you?
We'll let you stew on that.
I was lying. I was lying.
We will see.
He
you.
might.
We'll see you for
I don't think Gab would have that.
a Thanksgiving edition
Lasagna.
of the show. Yes, we'll be back. Some of us will be anyway. I know you will be, Stewie.
Yes.
With a mouthful of turkey. ESPN Plus, available every day. See you tomorrow.
Free turkey tomorrow here.
So the ESPN FC producers emailed us, Stuart Robson, earlier today and said, we want your 2018 international awards, but don't tell each other. So this is a surprise. This is a secret. Who's your biggest disappointment?
There's only one team for me. That's Germany. They were at one point favourites for the World Cup. They got knocked out fairly early. They got relegated in the UEFA Nations League. Biggest disappointment.
Cannot disagree. 3 wins in a calendar year and couldn't even get a pot 1 seeding.
Manager lucky to still be there, I
How's he
think.
got a new deal? Goodness me. Overachievers of 2018.
I'm going to be fairly biased here. I'm going to go for England because I don't think they've got great quality in players. I think Gareth Southgate did a good job because he's not, I wouldn't say a great coach, but he's a good man manager, and I think they've overachieved to get to the semi-finals against fairly weak opposition and qualify for the Nation League final.
Who beat them in the semi-finals?
But who knocked Croatia out in the Nations League?
The Nations League or the World Cup. What would you rather win?
We're talking about current.
Quiet. Best young player of 2018.
Somebody that didn't play at the World Cup. Frankie de Jong. I've seen him for Ajax. He has been magnificent in recent times, both for Ajax and for the national team. He's the best young player for me.
Just summed it up for me as well. He is, and he's going to be an absolute star. Best manager?
I watched a lot of the Dutch.
Okay.
I did every game when they failed to qualify for the European Championships and the World Cup. He's taken them to a new level. They're back to where they once were. They've qualified for the competition you don't like, the Nations League
I love it because
semi-finals.
Scotland finished top.
But that's why I've made him best man. He's turned the Dutch around.
There was a choice of 2 for me. He was one of them, so I can't disagree with that. I just love what he's done with Bosnia-Herzegovina, Prosinecki. They've been excellent. I know they lost to Spain, but their recent form, finishing top of the group, qualifying, promoted to
You don't have to
League
sort
A.
of promote what you've done. You
I've got
just
to
give the
listen-
answer.
I've got to listen to 30 seconds.
Yeah, one to watch in De Ligt, the
Yeah,
Dutch
fair.
again. I'm sticking with the Dutch because De Ligt came in, he played as a 17-year-old against Bulgaria, I think it was, made 2 mistakes, got taken off at half-time, but he's turned everything around. He's now, I think he's captain of Ajax, and he's playing very well for the Dutch national team next to Van Dijk. Van Dijk gets all the credit, but De Ligt has been good.
He was outstanding against France, but he was culpable for a couple of goals against
Well,
Germany.
don't worry about that. He's a good player.
It's a disappointing pick from you. It's the new Pirlo.
Yeah, anyway.
Look at him. Look at him. Sandro Tonali of Brescia, Real Madrid, Barca, Chelsea, Man City, all credited with an interest. Super player, just 18 years
So
old.
because they're interested, he must be a great player.
Super
How many
player.
times have you seen him play?
Don't debate.
How many
This
times
is
have you seen him play?
This is an awards show. We're meant to be harmonising.
Okay, fine.
Okay? Tonali and De Ligt. You wouldn't get the pair of them for a couple of quid, though, would you? These are our international awards for 2018.
14 pundits, including all of these gentlemen on tonight's show, were asked to cast their votes. You were asked to name your top 5 players in the Ballon d'Or, ranked 5 through 1. There was a point system attached to that, and it led to our first ever Ballon d'Or.
Get to the point, man. Come on.
None of us know who it is, so Shaka, I'm
You want me
going
to do the honours?
you.
Oh, this
By
could
the
be-
way,
this could
I'm
be
going to ask
dangerous.
you.
Okay,
Shaq.
we're going to go 10 to 1, right?
Shaq.
Yes?
I know this is nothing to do with you, but we are going to shout at you.
There's no red carpet for Shaka. There's no...
Any
know.
issue with N'Golo Kante in at number 10?
No, I think
That's all right.
Oh, well, we haven't seen the rest of it yet, so...
I think I voted for him.
So Robert, yeah,
I'm
Another Chelsea in at number 9.
that's an anti-Chelsea bias on this show.
Right.
Isn't it?
Anti-PSG bias apparently as Neymar gets in.
Oh, you can't
I
get it.
tell you
Neymar's
what,
never content with number 8.
the Neymar fans will be on Twitter
Didn't he go to
tonight.
PSG to win the Ballon d'Or?
What about Salah in at 7? Is that any better than Neymar?
He only played a couple of games at the World Cup, didn't he? Or one game at the World
I
Cup.
actually had Salah at 5.
He had a great first half of the year, didn't he?
Oh,
That's a good...
Chewy's not happy with that.
No,
5.
I don't mind.
What about Griezmann in at number 6?
No. That's
Okay.
about where he should be, yeah.
That's about right? Okay.
Well, I don't know about that.
now,
Did you have him high?
now the big
The
5.
heavy hitters are left.
I'm going to guess Mbappe at 5.
Yeah.
Am I right or wrong?
No,
I
he's
think you're
got to be
probably
higher.
right. No, it's
He's
going
got
to
to be
Varane.
higher than that.
Defenders never get any love. It's Varane, isn't it? Yeah.
Adrian is right. Varane in at number 5.
Yeah.
I'd agree with
I
that.
thought as much.
Missed him out.
Number 4?
Could it be one of the big 2? No. Kylian Mbappe.
In
Number
4.
Now, there's 14 people.
Messi next.
Guess who's
Messi
left?
next.
Messi and Ronaldo.
Number 3 is?
Yeah,
Messi.
I think it's Messi. Number. Whoa, I don't know.
Obviously not.
I don't know. Yeah, Messi's 3.
I mean, that sums it up, doesn't it?
Right.
Don't dare put Luka Modric at number 1. Come on.
We shall see.
Can't.
Number 2 is?
Here we go. Drum roll. Drum roll. Number 2. This is the all important moment. Who's going to? Which one did you touch? Oh, Modric.
Modric.
At number 2.
Yeah. Well,
all right.
I bet you can't guess who's number 1.
Doesn't leave you many options.
Cristiano Ronaldo in at number 1.
So CR7 is the winner of the first ever ESPN FC Ballon d'Or. This is actually how the points shook out. N'Golo Kante and Eden Hazard, talk about the anti-Chelsea, but only 1 point
I gave Conte his one vote. Yeah.
That was the 1 point. So Ronaldo winning by 5 points, Modric over Messi by 2, but those 3 comfortably ahead of the rest of the field.
So the secret to gaining points in this version of fantasy football in La Liga is to maybe go away from the norm. Of course, you've got your safe players that you can pick every week, but sometimes if you know more about some of the other teams and the players, that is where you can be successful. Let's take a look at our La Liga picks for this week. I've not gone for one of the big names. Iago Aspas is up there among the top scorers, and he is our Tier 1 forward. Borja Iglesias is in Tier 2. Gareth Bale, captaining our side this week, is our top midfielder. Dani Parejo and Pioni Sisto making up the numbers for the midfielders. Jordi Alba, Barcelona, tough game for them at Atletico Madrid, but he's always good for some points. Aritz Elostondo, our Tier 2 defender, and Diego Lopez. He should be busy this weekend as well. There you go. It might be lacking in big names, but hopefully it's not lacking in points. Our La Liga picks for Fantasy FC. So the international break is over. It's back to domestic action this weekend. Our Fantasy FC focus is on the English Premier League. Mohamed Salah is always a safe pick. Liverpool this week are on their travels. They go to Watford. He's not the captain though, going to make Richarlison the captain, playing in a more advanced role, in a bit of form, scored for Brazil as well, and Everton take on Cardiff, and that's a similar explanation for why we've gone for Theo Walcott. David Silva is playing well for Manchester City right now, they're at West Ham. David Brooks was excellent for Wales against Denmark, they're at home this week, and Andrew Robertson going to Watford for Liverpool. Couple more, Luca Digne, the fullback for Everton. Again, we're picking on Cardiff this week. And our goalkeeper, we're going to keep it nice and safe and simple. David De Gea, hopefully for Man United, shouldn't be too busy at home to Crystal Palace. Those are our Fantasy FC picks for the Premier League this weekend. Good luck.
Now, if you're a fan of Serie A, you got to catch our Serie A Awesome podcast. Gab Marcotti, Mina Ruzicki, and Paolo Bandini getting to the heart of the matters. Life in football on the peninsula, right? Check that out on espnfc.com. Gab Marcotti joining us now. Gab, I actually want to get your thoughts on the Azzurri, the national team, coming off the back of an international break. They saw them draw 0-0 with Portugal, then beat the United States 1-0. What do you reckon of the direction they're taking under Roberto Mancini?
Well, Adrian, if you want to see the glass as half empty, you're going to say, oh, but look, you know, they're not scoring goals and they're not winning. Well, Italy are coming off of 2 years where they weren't scoring goals, weren't winning, and were playing really, really badly. Now they're playing really, really, really well. I thought they were unlucky not to get the win over Portugal. The U.S. game, it was an experimental U.S. side. It was an experimental Italy side. A lot of very young players like Moise Kean and Stefano Segni in there. You're just glad that you're blooding the youngsters and they're doing the right thing. And this is a really, really excited, gifted generation of young footballers that are coming through for Italy. And if you're an Italy fan, you hope that Mancini can continue to mold them for the time being. They're fun to watch, and they create tons of chances. And you got to assume that sooner or later they'll be finishing some of them, right?
Let's bring Gab in on that. The UEFA President, Gab, in your presence, claiming there will not now be a European Super League. Do you believe him?
Well, the important thing is that it wasn't just him claiming it, is the guy next to him with him, which is Andrea Agnelli, the head of, there's obviously the president of Juventus and the head of the European Clubs Association, and they signed a letter of intent to extend the memorandum of understanding, which is the agreement that governs the relationship between the clubs and UEFA. Basically guarantees that there is no breakaway Super League because they have an actual contract. They're going to extend it through 2024. So we know that it's not going to happen for at least another, 5-6 years. After 2024, I think a lot of things are fair game. And 2024 is important because that's also when the current sort of FIFA international calendar agreement is set. Until then, you can't really mess around too much with dates because the international breaks are fixed and a lot of other major competitions. After 2024, you can redraw whatever you want. You can make it so that people play league matches at 9 a.m. on a Tuesday if you like. So I think it's pieces is broken out between them. They get on very well. They talked about a bunch of other things like having VAR possibly already this season, like having a third UEFA competition. But the key is that they're working together and that there will be no breakaway.